Beautiful combat world, we are here. It is officially fight week. UFC 320, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira, the rematch, light heavyweight championship of the world. Unbelievable card, 14 fight card. I'm going to break down every single fight and give out my predictions. And let's get into it, beautiful people. The first few fights are underwhelming, but the more we climb up the card, we're about to see an unbelievable main card special. Let's get into it, beautiful people. First fight of the night, Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Listen, it is a very simple pick. I'm going with the 7-1 favorite, Veronica Hardy. Listen, she was on an absolute tear up until her last fight. This is the X factor that I believe when you talk about this fight, beautiful people. The IQ and the awareness inside the octagon. Veronica Hardy is being trained by none other than the mastermind when you talk about MMA, Dan Hardy, her husband, and I believe that she's getting better. I mean, listen, anything can happen in MMA, but I'm going with Veronica Hardy, and she is a 7-1 favorite for a reason. Second fight of the night, beautiful people, Ramiz Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. Listen, Austin Vanderford is purely a grappler, wrestler, heavy pressure. I mean, listen, the man, we saw him climb through the ranks in Bellator. I mean, he is not the best wrestler if you actually think about it, but the man is effective. Now, Ramiz, listen, I became a believer of Ramiz Brahimaj when he fought Mickey Gall. And I know that many of you might say that Mickey Gall isn't the best or one of the best, definitely, but I don't know, I rate Mickey Gall highly in my opinion. And the way that Ramiz dispatched of him, no one has ever done that to Mickey Gall. And I'm going to actually, listen, this is a striker versus grappler match. Austin Vanderford is a massive favorite, but beautiful people, I'm going with the underdog. I'm going with the striker. I'm going with Ramiz Brahimaj, and I think that the man will knock out Austin Vanderford. Another fight up the card. Punahele Soriano, the pride of Hawaii, going up against Nikolay Veretennikov. Now listen, in my humble opinion, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I liked Soriano more at middleweight. The man looked so powerful, the man looked so dynamic, the man looked so dangerous. But listen, the man dropped down to welterweight and he's been having some success. Now, this is a tricky one, but I'm gonna go with the favorite, Soriano. Listen, I love Hawaiian fighters. There's something extra special about them. Their power, their resilience, their mindset, and their never die attitude. I'm going with Punahele Soriano to get the job done. I'm gonna keep going quickly through the first few fights because there's nothing really to talk about, but when we get into the main card, I'm going to take my time with the fights. Another fight coming up. Patchy versus Jacub Wiklacz, the newcomer. Now listen, beautiful people. Listen, beautiful people. Patchy, his UFC debut was absolutely disastrous. I mean, the way that he lost to Mario Batista, the man looked extremely one-dimensional. And I was extremely high on the man when he came from Bellator, especially, I mean, I remember that performance in Bellator when he fought James Gallagher and the way that he submitted him with ease. I wouldn't say with ease because the fight was competitive early on, but Patchy showed unbelievable composure and resilience in that fight and he finished the job. And even, listen, the man, when you expect him to wrestle, who knows, he might just knock you out with that violent knee that he produced a couple of years ago. Another fight. I mean, listen, given out my prediction, I'm going to go with Patchy. Maybe I'm going with my heart, but I'm going with Patchy. Listen, the man, even though his debut was it was disastrous to say the least. And he looked extremely one-dimensional. He looked flat-footed. He just kept walking Batista down and he got absolutely peppered with shots and dominated throughout the fight. I'm going to go with Patchy Mix, hoping that the man can produce something special and live up to his potential, because the man, he's been signed to Ali Abdelaziz for a while now, and everybody knows that Ali Abdelaziz only chooses to work with the best. Another fight up the card, Macy Chiasson going up against Yana Santos. Listen, Macy Chiasson, especially for female MMA, she's so dangerous. She can finish you from anywhere. And she's powerful, and her pressure and top control is absolutely ridiculous. Now, Yana Santos, she's extremely inconsistent, especially after she got married to Thiago Santos and had a kid, I believe. You had the feeling that she stopped being a full-time fighter. But she can definitely surprise any female fighter on any given night. That said, I'm going with Macy Chiasson. I mean, listen, it's going to be a competitive fight early on, but I believe the size, surely the size of Macy Chiasson will take over the fight as it transpires. I'm going with Macy Chiasson. Now, this fight is absolutely ridiculous. It's an absolute mismatch. Treston Vines versus Ateba Guatier. Listen, Gutierrez is the next Francis Ngannou, beautiful people. The man is absolutely scary, terrifying. He's a freak of nature. The man is only 23 years old. He looks like he's 33 years old. But believe it or not, he's actually 23. He's so powerful. Now, he is extremely flawed when you talk about his defense. I mean, excuse the renovations going on upstairs, but I gotta shoot this video regardless. Getting back to it, Ateba Guatier, the man is so young, and the man is getting better, and he's so powerful. And let's be honest, the UFC have been giving him layups. I mean, his last two fights, he dispatched of his opponents easily, and rightfully so. The man should do that when he's fighting such level of competition. And this is no different, beautiful people. Listen, the man is a gigantic favorite, and I expect him not just to get the job done, but to knock out Vines. Up the card, Daniel Santos versus Joosang, Korea versus Brazil. Listen, I'm going with the Korean, beautiful people. I mean, both men, they are extremely inconsistent if you actually think about it. If you look back at their old fights, in a fight, they look absolutely incredible, and in another fight, they look like amateurs, which is extremely strange, to be honest. So, I'm surely leaning towards Joosang purely because of the power, because of his dynamic style, and because of his knockout power. I mean, his last knockout was absolutely ridiculous. And to be honest, recency bias got me picking him in this fight. Another fight down the card, Chris Gutierrez versus Farid Basharat. Farid Basharat, not Javid Basharat, his brother. Keep that in mind, because I know that many of us get both brothers confused. Now, Javid Basharat is way more dynamic and is way more creative and elusive as a striker. But he got his clock cleaned by Ricky Simon in his last fight. But you can arguably say that Farid Basharat is more complete, is more aware inside the ring, and he might not be as exciting, but you can definitely say that he is more effective. Now, Chris Gutierrez, listen, that knockout over Frankie Edgar will forever break my heart and will forever live rent-free in my head. The man annihilated one of our legends, one of our most beloved fighters. Chris Gutierrez, his calf kicks are his best weapon. And if he's going to win this fight, it is going to be purely because of his calf kicks. The man is absolutely devastating when you talk about his kicking game. It feels like the man's legs are made of steel. And I believe he's extremely dangerous in this fight. But if you know, you know why. Because who is he standing with? I'm going with Farid Basharat. Up the card, Edmen Shabazyan versus Andre Muniz. Listen, beautiful people. Edmen Shabazyan, when he was undefeated and when he fought Derek Brunson in the Apex, I believe in 2020, I truly believed. And the fight before that, he fought Brad Tavares at MSG, knocked him out with a front kick, head kick, destroyed him, exploded onto the scene. And I truly believed back then that he was going to be the next face of the UFC. the pride of Armenia. The man is so powerful, the man is so crisp, his boxing is absolutely unbelievable. And the man, after that loss to Derek Brunson, he definitely suffered some violent losses, and especially that Brunson fight. It took a lot out of him. He took so much punishment in that fight. I believe that he was never going to be the same, but the man is refusing to give up, and the man keeps on trying his absolute best to get better. Now, Andre Muniz, he got slapped by Ikram Aliskerov, but the man, if he takes you down, you are in a world of trouble. But I still have a lot of high hopes for Edmen Shabazyan, and that is why I'm going to be picking Edmen Shabazyan, not just picking Edmen, but I think that he will knock out Andre Muniz and finish the job and continue his surge and comeback journey towards the championship level in the middleweight division. I'm going with Edmen Shabazyan. Now, starting with the main card, this is where it gets interesting, beautiful people. Joe Pyfer, the monster, the American machine, the American monster, the man with one of the hardest punches and one of the most powerful punchers we have ever seen in this sport. For middleweight, the man is absolutely massive. Don't get me wrong, he is flawed when you talk about his footwork. And when you talk about his defense, most importantly, the man is far from complete. But if he connects clean on your chin and your name isn't Kelvin Gastelum, you are going to sleep. No question about it. Now, Abus Magomedov, the biggest problem with Abus is his cardio, his stamina, his fighting spirit, some might say. Early on, he looks absolutely unbelievable. And same way back in PFL. First couple of rounds, the man looks perfect. The man looks unbeatable. But if you put the pressure on him and if you weather the early storm, you can definitely not just get to him, but finish him. And I fear for him in this fight. More than likely, Joe Pyfer will win this fight. But my heart is with Abus Magomedov. Listen, it is a very, very tough task, especially with the sturdiness of Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer, I've never seen the man hurt yet. I mean, the man, I would hate to be fighting Joe Pyfer, let me tell you, beautiful people. The man is absolutely massive. He looks like a heavyweight. And his power is definitely the power of a heavyweight. Actually, when they recorded his punch at the UFC PI, he punched harder than Francis Ngannou. What does that tell you? Now, those punching machines, they don't really tell the story, but one thing for sure, the man can punch like an absolute horse kicks. So, he is dangerous. And I fear for Abus. Who am I going to pick? Who am I going to pick? My heart is telling me to go with Abus, but my mind is telling me to go with Joe Pyfer. I will be rooting and hoping and praying to God that Abus gets the job done, but more than likely, Joe Pyfer is getting that knockout. What an unbelievable stylistic matchup when you talk about this one. Josh Emmett, one of the most ferocious punchers I have ever seen in my life, but also one of the most flat-footed fighters you will ever see, going up against the man with arguably the best footwork in the division right now, the pride of Morocco, the Moroccan devil, Youssef Zalal. Youssef Zalal, this is purely a matchup of power versus footwork. And listen, this is what's shocking, beautiful people. Youssef Zalal is a 5-1 favorite. How crazy and ridiculous is that? I mean, listen, as far as I'm concerned, the man is still unproven at the elite level. He's still yet to get that elite win. But Josh Emmett, we know what Josh Emmett is about. No matter who he fights, Josh Emmett is always dangerous and is always a split second away from putting your lights out and ending your career. Not just ending the fight. The man is probably the heaviest hitter in the history of the featherweight division. And he is tough. And he is resilient. And he is, without a doubt, a far from an easy night for any featherweight on any given night. And listen, he gave Ilia Topuria, I believe, the hardest fight of his career. But Ilia Topuria is so good and is so complete that let's be honest, he dominated him, but there were definitely some scary moments in that fight for Ilia Topuria. And listen, Ilia Topuria hit him with everything and anything you can think of, and he still wasn't able to put him out. He dropped him several times, but he was never close to stopping him. Now, who am I picking in this fight? Listen, Youssef Zalal the man is 11 years younger. The man is way fresher. I mean, listen, Josh Emmett, you can't talk about Josh Emmett without talking about his injuries. The man got countless surgeries in the past few years. And the wear and tear on the man, absolutely ridiculous. Listen, Youssef Zalal isn't even 5-1. He's nearly a 6-1 favorite. I'm going to be honest, that's ridiculous and disrespectful and absolutely absurd. Who am I going to go with? I'm going to go with Youssef Zalal. Listen, he might very well get knocked out in this fight. Josh Emmett is also one of my favorite fighters. But there's something about Youssef Zalal, that flag that he raises, if you know, you know, beautiful people, who he's standing with right now. I'm going with Youssef Zalal. Hopefully he'll get the job done and enter the elite level at featherweight, and it's only up from here, but he gotta get through this fight. And this might very well be the toughest fight of his career. Next up. Oh my God, violence is the only word that's fitting for this fight. Jiří Procházka, the most reckless and the most violent and the most ferocious fighter that I have ever seen in my life. Especially when you talk about the big boys, light heavyweight division. He's going up against the Muay Thai specialist and the master when you talk about checking calf kicks, catching and shooting, exploding, taking his time. Khalil Rountree, listen. When you talk about the entire career of Khalil Rountree, you can separate it into two halves. The first half was from his start up until he got knocked out by Johnny Walker. He was a good fighter, but he didn't do anything special. But after that knockout loss to Johnny Walker, he traveled and lived in Thailand to become a master at Muay Thai. And when he came back from Thailand and fought Gokhan Saki, the kickboxing legend, the glory legend, the way that he destroyed him, annihilated him, and knocked him out and ended his career and ended his UFC run, that was what you call a statement. And after that fight, he did suffer a couple of losses, but overall, the man is so dangerous. And the man, almost in every single fight, he drops his opponents. It's because he's so calm, he's so elusive. He doesn't exert any unnecessary type of energy or movements or whatsoever. The man is so calm in the middle of the fire, and he gave Alex Pereira all he can handle before Alex Pereira finished the job. Listen, my mind is telling me Khalil Rountree will knock out Jiří Procházka flush because Jiří Procházka is so reckless and Rountree is so cerebral and is so accurate. But, you know me, I always go with my heart. I'm going with Jiří Procházka, praying to God that he can weather this onslaught from Rountree, because let me tell you, beautiful people, I don't think it's possible whatsoever to fight this version of Khalil Rountree and to leave the octagon unscathed. You're gonna wake up the next day with a headache. That is a promise when you fight someone like Rountree. And you're gonna wake up the next day absolutely sore and in agony and in pain because of the man's striking arsenal. But Rountree has never faced someone so chaotic like Jiří. The last time he fought someone so chaotic like Jiří was when he fought Johnny Walker and he got knocked out by Johnny Walker. I'm going with my heart and I'm going with Jiří Procházka. Up the card, the co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili, the pride of Georgia, one of my favorite fighters, one of the most charismatic enigmas in our sport, going up against Corey Sanhagen. Both men are two of the most improving fighters in the world, not just in the bantamweight division. After their last losses, they definitely polished up their game, especially after Corey lost to Aljamain. He worked on his grappling game, and we saw it in the Umar fight, even though he lost to Umar, but he gave Umar a hell of a fight. But I'm going to be honest, I'm going with Merab. He's going to win by decision, possibly a late stoppage, but I believe that Corey will find a lot of success early, and if Merab doesn't go from side to side, he's open in mid-range to be countered with that devastating knee of course Sanhagen. That said, I'm going with Merab. Main event, Alex Pereira going up against Magomed Ankalaev. This is the rematch. Listen, doing the same thing and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. But I just saw Alex Pereira's last sparring session, and the only way to describe it is kamikaze. The man is coming reckless. The man is coming aggressively. The man is coming to take Ankalaev's head off, and this is what you love to see. Because if Alex Pereira is going to take his time and keep on anticipating Ankalaev shooting, which is going to stifle the dynamic striking of Pereira, he's going to lose this fight. But if he actually goes for it, he might also lose the fight, but he will definitely have a better chance of cleaning Ankalaev's clock. I love Ankalaev. I love Pereira. You know, it's gonna be a tough task for Pereira. I'm going with Magomed Ankalaev. I would love to see Alex Pereira get back on top, but I just find it extremely hard. Listen, I don't believe that Alex Pereira is in his prime anymore, and not just that, I don't believe that Alex Pereira is hungry anymore. His climb and the way that he was active, you can tell that the man was starving even though he was making millions. But his momentum was unstoppable. And if we know anything about this beautiful life, beautiful people, momentum is everything. And Alex Pereira basically got no momentum whatsoever right now. While on the other hand, Ankalaev is building his win streak, his dominance, absolutely ridiculous and remarkable. We would all love to see Alex Pereira get the job done. That said, it is going to be a very, very tough task. And if he actually does it, you might as well put him up there with the GOATs at light heavyweight. He's already with the GOATs at middleweight. In my opinion, Alex Pereira, you know, he's one of the greatest ever. Regardless of divisions, regardless of styles, the way and the things that he was able to achieve in such a short period of time, greatness is the only way to describe it. And that is why you might as well put him up there with the GOATs. But I would love to see Alex Pereira get the job done, and I would be so happy for the man if he gets the job done. But that said, I'm going with our Muslim champion, Magomed Ankalaev. I think that the man is getting better, and that is what's scary when you talk about someone like Ankalaev. But unbelievable card, unbelievable matchup. Stylistically, this card got Fights of the Year written all over it, and Knockouts of the Year written all over it. So many heavy-handed fighters are on this card. But a lot of those heavy-handed fighters on this card are fighting wrestlers. And you know, beautiful people, that the antidote for those power punchers is that violent double leg and that snatching single leg. We're gonna have to find out, wait and see, but not too long to go. Pereira versus Ankalaev, the rematch, bring on Saturday night.